and welcome to the speaker series presented by the Entrepreneurs Forum, which is a weekly event featuring industry leaders held every Thursday here on Zoom. It's designed for learning and networking. I would like to introduce our sponsor, Mundo Digital Designs, which is a female-led web design and branding agency with a strong social impact focus. Every project with them is a step towards empowerment. For every new client, they sponsor therapy and provide valuable business and design skills to women in need. Today's episode is the Marketing Maverick with Fritz Colinet and his special guest, Sol Alsina. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Erica. I appreciate it very much. It is fantastic to have Sol here with us, all the way straight from Argentina, which is fantastic. Yes. I love Sol's hat. Her whole personal brand is fantastic. I love that half, glove on. It looks great. So I love it. Right. So, let me just give everybody a little bit of background about Sol. Sol, she's this visionary, she builds brands, global brands. She's the founder of a female-led branding agency, and they have a really strong social purpose, right? So her heart is huge. Her creativity is insane, right? So Sol, glad you're here on the Marketing Maverick with Fritz. How are you doing? How's everything? How's Argentina?
Well, good morning, everyone from, the Tango Town, right? Buenos Aires, Argentina. I am extremely excited to be adding value today and sharing insights to everybody that joined, this conversation today, right? This is a safe space where I'm going to be answering every question that you have as a marketing ninja on the other end, because I'm sure that we will be able to add value and insight and suggestions, so everyone here can really build a brand that is meaningful, that impacts our lives, and that they are able to scale. So I hope my story inspires everyone here in the audience. Thank you, Fritz, and of course.
Well, your story inspired me, so I'm happy about that. Your story inspired me, so I'm sure it's going to inspire everybody else, right? So, but so speaking of inspiration, your agency, kind of give us a little background. Share with us your upbringing and how your mother's resilience influenced how you approach design and branding, and kind of shaped you and your creativity and your direction, like that journey growing up.
Absolutely, and that's the key questions, right? The roots, right? The ikigai, the golden why I created Mundo Designs. And growing up in Argentina, my journey wasn't typical, okay? Our house, of course, was a sanctuary of love, honesty, and sacrifice, and of course, it had its struggles at the same time in parallel. My mom, she was my inspiration. An Italian immigrant, an entrepreneur, a business owner back then in that epoch with twins. I want to invite the audience to picture having the bathroom outside, right? Having the bathroom in the patio. And picture this, just close your eyes for a moment. I was only 6 years old. We were very humble, but my mom, oh my gosh, she was so strong. That woman and the resiliency. One day she came to my house, right? It was raining, a lot of rain. And she was at the same time an actress and building her own company, working 3 jobs. We were very humble. That day, she went to use the bathroom in the patio because that was our house. But the moment I watched her, the moment I saw her smile, because she knew that at the same time, she was building another house for us, brick by brick, designing, using her own creativity, right, to give us the best education, English classes. And yes, the bathroom was in patio. But that day, 6 years old, her journey really sparked my passion for design and using, just like the art of kintsugi, right? The cracks in life to mend into something beautiful. The kintsugi art, the Japanese art, where broken pottery is actually infused by the golden metals. And you can make something painful beautiful. Right now, from my humble beginning, I'm now a global branding expert. And yes, with a social impact as my main purpose.
Just thinking about that visually, my mind, thinking about the bathroom outside is incredible, and how it sparked you. It shows ingenuity, it shows creativity, but it also shows, can-do attitude, right? And, I have that can-do attitude, and, we kind of push through all the obstacles and challenges. And it sounds like your mother was just not only inspiration for her immediate family, but also everyone she touched, and still touching people to this day through you, which is amazing.
That's a legacy when you build the brand, to make sure that you put your purpose, your why in front of you, and that you use, the pain to build something meaningful, right? That's why when I create brands or build brands and we need to get creative, we make sure that we use that kintsugi. We find out what is the pain, right, that you want to remove from a community, right? And we make sure that we blend that into the designs. That's how my mother inspired me to build something meaningful step by step. And look at us now. Like
that's great, right? So I know that your agency focuses on social impact and providing value and skills and therapy for women in need. What inspired you to integrate social responsibility into your business model, and what impact has it had on both not only you and your clients, but also the community that it supports as well?
Well, Fritz, your questions, I have no doubt why you are leading this session today, because, you're really, you're hitting right on the roots of my why, right? And the success right now. So let me tell you that what inspired me and my team to really blend the social impact, it was inspired by the resilience of my mom and every other woman, and of course man as well as my dad, that I saw and watched it transcend their own painful moments, right? And I really wanted to make sure that I made the life of other ones easier, because I really felt the sacrifice of my mom. Okay, she didn't maybe bought a pair of shoes for her because she wanted to invest in our education. And that really touched my heart. And today I'm like, look, 80% of the consumer, they will buy your why. They don't buy my designs and what I do. Really, they buy the why you do what you do. And why I do what I do is to make sure that we build brands that are more human, more people-oriented, that we understand the process of pain. And that's what it really inspired to infuse the social impact. I want to create something meaningful. It's just don't want to sell only pixels and designs. I want to make sure that I create an academy for women in need, and for women like my mother used to be, seeing, mother humble with twins, immigrants. Oh my God, this scenario was not good at all. But again, that's what really inspires me to invite my clients to put their why into their brands. That's what the impact is all about. Why you do what you do.
And it sounds like really what you're talking about is the vision, especially when we're talking about building brands. Every brand, whether it's a personal brand or a business brand, you have to really start thinking about your vision. What is the vision of the company? What is the impact that you want to make, right? Not only internally, but externally. So this vision that you're creating, it sounds like your mother created this vision for her family, and you've actually taken that vision and added to it, so incorporating the community at large and helping women throughout that. So it's really great. Like when you're building a brand and how do you educate or help brands think about their vision, right, and move forward. So we have a method over here, but I'd love to hear what you guys do and kind of educate the listeners.
Well, we ask powerful questions that, of course, are uncomfortable, okay? Because if you want to make waves, you need to open yourself to uncomfortable questions that are actually linked to your roots, okay, and to your pain. Like the unconventional way to prosperity and to find your vision is, to invite the audience to follow their pain, okay? So, for instance, one of the questions that we ask with my agency, it's what do you want to be remembered for? That's number one. Number two is why your brand exists. Why do you wake up as a brand every morning? What really sustains you from the inside, right? To offer your audience, what you do. So those are the powerful questions that I ask, among others, but especially, what is the pain that you are removing from, a community? What is the community that you serve? And that's how you find your vision, right? Remove a pain, and that's how you build your purpose.
That is great, right? So really, what's the pain that what's the pain you want to remove, right? And if they can imagine their brand in 10, 20 years from now, what would that be like? And the legacy that they want to leave behind. It's really important. I know that you work on a wide variety of clients and you assist multiple brands, large and small. And, you have 15 years experience of working with clients like, Coca-Cola, Venlo. So, tell us, some key lessons that you learned from some of these brands in the competitive market, right?
Again, another key question. I just want to keep on going with your questions, as a marketing.
So I'm just going to have a pocket full of keys and just dangle the keys and just let you know that I'm the man with key questions for everyone about branding and marketing. And
that's how you create the ambience, right? To make sure that when we build our personal brand, right, we build the vision of the brand and the services that we want to offer, right? Because we need to serve the community. So that being said, after working for more than 15 years, building brands and, working with Coca-Cola, Lenovo, small, medium-sized companies all over the world, right? From Netherlands to Argentina to probably Bali, United States. Let me tell you one thing that I have learned in building successful brands. It's a quote that I love. And I learned this also from my mom. In a world of change, okay, authenticity remains the timeless currency of trust. Authenticity. I'm not going to change my accent with my personal brand. I'm authentic. I'm not going to change my values. You need to stick with your values. So honesty for me, okay, transparency, creativity, and authenticity are the key elements of building successful brands. Stay authentic. That's why you need to know your roots, your pains, share that, embrace vulnerability. Look, I'm going to be authentic here. My name is Sol. In Spanish, it means sun, right? But you want to hear a secret over here? My name, my real name, is actually Soledad, which means solitudine, right? It means loneliness, etymologically speaking. But guess what? When I went ahead and I looked the meaning of that word, it means the abundance of your own presence. So as a brand, you need to make sure that you are authentic, that you spend time to yourself, okay? Because when you show, okay, what you do and why, the authentic self, you can tell it's magnetic. Why? Because you spend time with yourself and you show the abundance of your own presence. You're authentic. So be bold and choose to be you, okay? Everybody else is taken. That's what they say. That's how you stand out.
And that's right.
That's why
Everybody else is taken.
accent is so thick today.
I love your accent, so I tell myself every day, I'm like, I just want to call Sol just so I can hear her accent, and it'd be fantastic. Hey, good morning. So she can say, buenos dias, and I'm cool with that, right? And that kind of made my morning, right? So, and it's interesting because when you're building brands, a lot of folks don't want to be bold. They want to copy what someone else is doing. They say, hey, this person's successful. I should do exactly what they're doing. But they're authentic in their own skin. They're being true to themselves. Why try to copy somebody else, right? So if you have an accent, embrace that accent, right? If you look different from your society, embrace that. Because in a sea, it's interesting, in a sea of horses, you should be the unicorn.
Very interesting. Right? Wow. I want to be your business partner. Can we do that very soon, please? I love what you're saying.
We can do that. We can do that.
You're very clear. You're very clear, very rational. Yes. Yes,
as we spoke many times, and sometimes I'm a little bit too direct, right?
Yes.
But I know that you work on a wide variety of businesses. You have multiple businesses going on. I heard through the grapevine about BXL, a consulting company for business, either small businesses or personal brands, or I think it's really for coaches right now, right?
Yes.
And influencers. So tell us a little bit about BXL Consulting, kind of another arm of, your design company.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, we were all the time with Mundo Designs, of course, empowering women, working in building brands with men as well. But our main strong social impact was to help women. Okay. So now we decided that another arm that we were missing, it was the rational part, the positioning part, right? To build brands. So BXL, Be Bold, Be You, consulting is now the young part, yin and yang of marketing. You need both sides of the coin to scale your brand and make sure that your wisdom, your purpose goes vital as a branding, expert. That's my advice. So BXL comes to the table to help one of the communities that I love the most, which, the target audience are coaches, right? And they are the ones helping others discover their mission, their vision, their own shadows, embrace their vulnerability, and from there, be better for themselves to then be better for others, right? So that's why we decided right now with BXL, the rational part, the positioning part of branding. That's what I needed. I needed a man as well, in my team. And that's why we created masculine and feminine energy at the same time, called BXL Consulting.
That, so I love the be bold, be extra large, be extra, be living. So what's really great about BXL is that it's helping these coaches, but that most of their pain points, what are the pain points that they're coming to you for, and their frustrations, right? They're about their brand.
Well, first of all, is that they are not integrating the niche, right? Everybody, it's for everyone. And guess what? As a global branding expert, I have to say that the most important part of the journey, right, is to know your audience. You're not for everyone. You have to really understand the niche. Who are they? What are their gains? What are their pains? And really understand that branding, it's about the experience. It's about the journey you take your audience, okay? So that being said, that's the most painful moment for them, is to, hey, I don't know my niche. I don't know how to narrow down my audience and how to talk to them, where to find them, because they're talking to everyone. And you're not for everyone. You need to make sure that you are special.
So you're so right when you said, a lot of coaches, a lot of brands, they want to talk to everyone, right? I like to say there's only a couple of things that's for everyone: air, water, and of course, sol, right? Sun, right?
Yes.
So, and these balloons that kind of pop up every once in a while. So, but, so air, water, and sun. And if you're a mushroom, you don't need sun, right? So the audience, you have to really understand who your audience is, kind of laser focus the conversation and your messaging to that audience. Because when you start to go really wide, you're talking to no one, right? So that's what, BXL is one of those projects that you're working on that's really honing in on the target audience of coaches, helping them understand their brand, right? And their pain point. So I'd like to talk more about it, but I have other questions. But BXL sounds like it's an amazing, brand, an amazing project that you're working on to help the community, to help the coaching community at large. So I know there's a lot of coaches here on the show who come to us for a little bit of strategy, understanding how they build their brand, right? So these are the things this is why this podcast is here, to help people build their personal brand, to help them build their business brand, talking to folks like yourself, right? So, I want to kind of go into the ikigai, right?
Let me
And
get
get ready for it, because the ikigai. So I remember when you mentioned the ikigai to me for the first time, and I'm like, ikigai, right? So it was a little foreign to me, right? And I said, so explain this ikigai to me, because we were on the phone, and I'd like you to kind of go into a little bit of the ikigai and a little bit more into hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly, the kintsugi, right? Which you had mentioned before.
Yeah, the kintsugi art. Yes, correct.
The kintsugi art. So everyone say kintsugi art, right? Okay. I heard a couple of people say it. Okay, fine. We can move forward now.
Yeah. Okay. Let me explain why I use the kintsugi art to infuse my branding and the creativity visuals for brands. The first question that I would ask the audience here is, if you have a personal brand, and then you have your business brand, all right? The first question to ask yourself, to be bold and really BXL, it's, why do you exist? Why you wake up every morning? What is the reason of living? Why your brand is actually existing? So that's actually the kintsugi. What are the cracks, right? What are those pain points of your audience that you are infusing with gold? Your service, your why. I don't know if I'm here, because it seems like yes, I am here. Wait, just a second.
You're here. Yes, you're here. I see you.
It's much more than a catchy phrase, the kintsugi art. It's really to understand what are their pains and their cracks, and how you're going to be infusing them with your why, with the why of your brand. That's why it's so important to be guided by this principle, that will guide your authenticity as a brand. So that's what it's on.
Is the consulting, all the BXL Consulting, I went through some of the modules, and it goes through the ikigai. So with BXL Consulting, so would that help you with the ikigai and the kintsugi art? Would that help? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, or close to it.
You are. It will help you find the why you exist, why you wake up every morning. It will help you communicate the vision of your brand, and really understand that the why, it's a mix of ingredients. First of all, you need to ask yourself, what do you love? The why means to have that inside. What do you love? What are your passions? What are you good at the same time? But especially, what suffering you are removing from a community, right? That's are the 4 elements of the Ikigai. So it will help you not only with the vision, but also to create visuals, narrow down the niche, and of course have the strategies to scale and make sure that you reach the right audience.
It's interesting. We go to the vision, the why, the audience, right? So it sounds like it sounds like these are the steps to these are the steps to help to build your brand, right? So you really need to know why you exist, or what do you want to remove? What are the pain points you want to remove from the community, right? Who's your audience, right? And understanding their pain points, right? So, which is great. So what do you love to do? So outside of helping women, and social impact, so what does Sol like to do outside of that?
Well, I love, of course, creativity. I love being I love interviewing people, because I am just a people lover, and I love to create personal brands and brands that really connects deeply with the authenticity of each person. So that's what I love to do. Get to know people, connect, build meaningful connections. I am very global. I have a global mindset. I love to kind of reveal the mysteries of life and create formulas, right, for the people around me and myself to live a better life. I am extremely passionate about building a mindset every day that is serene, that is joyful, that it's resilient, and that is sharing. I share. That's what I love to do. I love to share. I love to connect deeply. I'm a fan of deep connections, and water, of course. And of course, wine.
And water. So with these connections and legend, you say you like to speak and you like to talk to, you like to be on speaking engagements, right? I know you were on a TEDx speaker about branding, and so give us some examples of, how you approach and help your clients stand out in the marketplace, right? So we understand a little bit more of the approach, or your approach, right?
Yeah,
so how you help
absolutely.
folks stand out.
Well, again, I think, we need to sometimes be unconventional, right? Because we see, everybody today is following AI, right? And artificial intelligence, and everybody goes to that way. So my way, it's a little bit more human and disruptive. And I love the fact that I sustain the human part in every single approach that I design, to build brands. So one of those is, of course, like I mentioned, follow your pain to discover what are the, passions that are inside your brand, to discover, the road to prosperity. Follow your pain to really discover the message, right, of your brand. That's one. Number two, I really help my clients to get creative and find their identity, build their personality, choose their colors according to the emotions they want to spark, they want to provoke when a visitor comes to their site, for example. So I don't choose just the colors. I ask, what are the emotions that you want to provoke through your brand? Personal brand, remember, your branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So when you're not in the room, do you want to provoke serenity? Then choose turquoise. Do you want to provoke trust? Then choose blue. Do you want to provoke, I don't know, a joy? Then choose yellow, and so on. And I also use something very unconventional to build brands and find out your personality, so you're authentic, that it's called biomimicry technique. Biomimicry, right, is to really make sure that you understand what animal is actually your brand, right? So by thinking about what animal, I'm a Black Panther, for example, or you can be a fox or a tiger or a dragon. Why? So you can infuse the elements, the emotions that those animals, right, brings to the table, to your brand. And that's how you can create the colors of your brand, because you feel that your brand is, for example, a Black Panther, right? For instance, or a panda, which is black and white.
And white.
And the masculine energy, right? That's one element. I really ask them, look, what animal represents your brand and your values? And on the other hand, I use astro branding as well, the astrology. For example, myself, I am Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. So from those three elements, I was able to create my own personal branding, right? Which is based and inspired by water element. So I'm a siren of wisdom that follows, you know, the message of their pain, right? That's why I use a hat. I have kintsugi art in my sirens, you know, and I flow like water, my friend.
That's beautiful. I know you flow like water. I know that, you know, you have an amazing brand, you know, which is great. About colors are really important, and a lot of folks don't realize colors say so much in different cultures. So picking colors are really important depending on your audience. Certain colors are lucky colors. Certain colors are unlucky colors in certain cultures, right? So there's in Vegas, there was a hotel that built a baccarat tables, and they had it a certain color. That color was a not lucky color in the Asian community, so that community was not participating at those tables. So understanding who you're targeting, that goes back to what you're saying again, and what brand experts like ourselves go, hey, you know, we really have to understand our audience, right? We, you know, I love this biomimicry, you know, who are you, the colors and the etymology of the colors and what those colors mean. A lot of times folks are picking colors, or designers will pick colors for them just because they're nice colors without really understanding what that color evokes. You know, when you go out a night out on the town, you're picking colors that you want everybody else either to notice you, or you want to blend in with everybody else. You can be part of the uniform, you can be part of the horses, or you can be a unicorn. It's up to you, right? So I don't know, I think myself and Sol, we like to be unicorns in a sea of horses, right? So if you want to be a unicorn, you know, right now, these two experts can help you become a unicorn. What Sol is talking about, I love it, this biomimicry. I want to do that with you so I can see what type of animal I am, right? And astro branding.
You know, I am intrigued. You know, I want to make sure that the animal is actually infused in your branding, right? In your colors. It's a way of inspire you to create the personality, right? And what is the archetype? So that's why I use biomimicry as one of the methodologies to shape a brand's personality and identity, and then just get creative with colors and kind of like what you want to provoke. Colors are so important to provoke emotions in your audience.
And we don't realize, you know, what colors, font treatment, photography style, it starts to help with that slice of memory that I talk about. Like, how do you acquiring that slice of memory? So when you're picking out fonts, you know, so how do you guys, when you're creating, you know, logos or word marks, you know, what type of fonts would you recommend for folks, and that could resonate with their brand, and how do you guys kind of go through that?
Well, see, you always have the right question, right, to build brands, but this is how we do it. You know, you cannot pick a font just because you like the shape of the font, right? The most important thing to have in mind is that every single element, right, aspect and component of your visual journey that you invite your audience to be part of, it will provoke an emotion, right? That it might not be aligned of who you are as a brand and what you offer. So for instance, the number one question to ask yourself, if you want to choose the right color and the right font and discover that, it's, again, what emotion do you want to provoke and evoke when a visitor comes to your page, to your site, to your visuals? With that in mind, you will be able to then choose the right font. For example, if I want to build trust and evoke trust, right, and professionalism, right, and I want to be clear and I want to be minimalist, right, I'm not going to be choosing a font that it's, you know, not cursive, for example, right? I need to make sure that it's exquisite, that is sophisticated, because I want to provoke sophistication, right? So it cannot be a graffiti font just because I like graffiti in my personal life. It has to be a font that speaks to your audience, not to you, to your audience, and that creates that sophistication and the ambient, because it's the journey you take them. They have to say yes when they see the font. If they see graffiti, they're going to see an urban, right, kind of like brand. And you're not for them because they're not graffiti, right? Kind of like a style.
Exactly.
They're more like doctors, for example, right? So anyway, that's how emotions, always emotions and psychology behind.
Exactly. So this is one thing that really, us as brand experts, we're actually psychologists at the end of the day. We're able to craft the brand and have you interpret what we would like you to interpret. So fonts and colors, so I can take the same word, use a font, and you would think it's a sports font, or you would think it's a luxury brand, or you would think it's kind of a a lawyer or a financial firm. So it's important when we're talking about building the brand, like these are all the elements that help build a brand, right? It's not just, hey, let me, your designer is going to pick a color because it's in the palette of their Illustrator file, right? Or the Illustrator program. And that's sometimes we like, oh, I like pink and I want to use pink. Okay, cool. That's great that you like pink, right? But there's so many different shades of pink, right? Now, can you own that pink color? Probably not, right? So that pink color is going to be associated with somebody else, right? Same thing with that green, right? So that Starbucks green, or that Coca-Cola red, or that FedEx blue and orange. So these are colors that resonate, that they basically purchased a slice of memory in your mind, right? So Sol, is great at putting these elements together, helping you identify some of the challenges that you're going to have and kind of overcoming those challenges, right? Yeah. So, I want to, I know it's coming into the top of the hour. I have some other questions I want to ask you, right? So, and if anyone has a question, feel free to put it in the chat box, right? And if we could answer those questions, that'd be fantastic. Just put your questions in the chat box, please. Okay. So, kind of, what was your biggest, failures and your biggest triumphs in building your company or your personal brand, or, just your personal company or your brand? Biggest triumphs and biggest failures.
Those questions. Okay, I'm feeling very from Argentina right now. Okay, let me go ahead and be absolutely authentic and embrace my vulnerability here. And then Maury, I think you have a question and I would love to answer yours. But Fritz, that question really touched me, because I really, really resonate with being fan of following my failures more than my successful moments. Those moments of pain following that, it brought me my yes, right? So one of those, it has been to adapt too much, to be someone that I am not in front of Coca-Cola, for example, to, be scared of my accent, right? And not showing that, although it's very evident, okay? So in those moments, I was too concentrated on adapting too much to the other one instead of just being my own being, right? And saying yes too much when I wanted to say no, and not trusting my intuition. It was my biggest failure, okay? When I accepted the no, I mean no, N-O, new opportunity. When I started to change my mindset and really understanding that it's not the journey, it's not the destination, it's about the people you choose to be around with during the journey that will bring the most successful stories that you can ever imagine. Choose the right people, meaning when you're having a client in front of you and your intuition tells you that is not the way, just even if you are struggling, say no and put that energy in building another yeses that's going to be more aligned with your values. Do not put your value in front of money.
So
it's actually bad.
Intuition. We're in the States, we're not trained to listen to our intuition. How can someone really, foster their intuition, listen to their intuition? Because that's a challenge, I strongly believe, in the States that we have. We listen to our mind, right? We kind of analyze everything. We'll probably listen to our heart, but our intuition it's a little bit different. It's I call it like my gut feeling, right? Like, hey, you know what? This client doesn't feel right for whatever reason. I have a couple of things that I already know that we're not going to work well together with the client in my first meeting with them. So how do you kind of, are there anything that you can help everyone to foster some of their intuition to help them kind of go through this?
Yeah, well, it's actually like you said, listening to your guts, right, and your feelings. But especially, the first blink of the eye that that's your intuition. It's the first blink of your eye. So you just listen and make sure that you follow your intuition instead of your mind, right? And I'm not talking about the emotion, okay? It's that thing that is telling you this is not the right client, this is not the right road, this is not the right decision, okay? And believe me, just trust in my guts. And when I say no to my intuition, I really failed very badly, especially in terms of time management. Because this is not about actually time management, it's about energy management. So when you listen to your intuition, it gives you an energy, right? They say, no, just trust your guts, because then you use the energy, right, to build and scale even better. Because if you say yes to something that your intuition tells you no, I guarantee you that you will not have time to then scale your brand, because you're going to be drawn by the feeling of not wanting to work with somebody else, for example. So that's how, just the first blink of your eye, just say yes and just move on.
That's great. So I'm going to be looking at my first blink of my eye to make sure that I'm not constantly blinking, right? but when I speak to clients, and some red flags for me, if they're talking badly about the previous agency, right? So that's a red flag for me. If they can't make a decision immediately, that's another red flag, because in advertising and marketing and trying to build your brand, things happen so fast in technology that you have to make decisions immediately, because the funnel, the funnel is keeping going, right? So the ocean is moving, right? So if you're not moving with it, you now the next week, 2 weeks later, a month later, things could have changed, right? So if AI could change everything in a month from now, right? So,
Yeah.
or the banning of TikTok could be another, so there's a lot of things that you have to make decisions. So there's a couple of red flags, and that's my intuition. I have to learn that my intuition, to go with my intuition. And now I'll add the blinking of my eye to that. So, which I like a lot.
Yeah, and another one, I have another formula to really make sure that you are aligned with your intuition. Ask the client, partner, or a potential decision, ask them, what is the most important thing you should know about them? What is the most important thing I should know about you, and what are your values? If they answer or their response is not aligned with your values, and if, for example, for myself, if you're going to be answering that the most important thing about you is your business and the money you make, it's a no. My intuition is telling me this is not the right place to be. Okay, so that's for me a very important personal question, and by getting the answer, you follow your intuition based on that answer to that question.
So I love that. So, when we talk about advertising and marketing and building brands, what's like one thing that you can, one pearl that you can tell everyone, like, hey, if you do this, this is going to happen. This is beneficial for you if you do X, Y, Z.
Well, the most important thing I will say, it's my P formula, right? As a branding expert. First of all, put your purpose in the middle of every single decision that you take. The purpose is in the middle. So if you don't have a clear purpose, use the Ikigai methodology, COLAS, but the vision, the purpose is first, in the middle of every single decision. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it's if you want to scale your brand, your passion needs to be inside every single visuals component, marketing elements. It doesn't matter. Your passion needs to be shown authentic. That's it, second P. Okay, so it's purpose, passion, and then of course follow your pain. I mean, in the entrepreneurial journey, you will be full of painful moments, and I guarantee you that those painful moments will give you the right message to for you to scale. Do not try to put that under the carpet. Follow your pain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's passion, follow your pain, and the most important P of my formula for a meaningful and purpose-driven brand, it's choose the right people every day to talk to make company on your journey. People really can lift you up or drain you. So it's extremely important. And the fifth element is the power of the palabras, which means language. Language creates a reality. So the way you speak as a brand, it will either bring you a lot of clients or it will either just make you fail. Because every word creates a reality for your audience and yourself. You need a mindset of good storytelling, okay? To make sure that you wake up every day and just get out there and push through painful moments.
Sol, thank you. That was amazing. I know we have one more question from Maury, but we're at the top of the hour and they're giving me Maury, if you just email me the question, I'll have Sol answer it for you. But I know that Sol, she's been really grateful and gracious to give everyone a complimentary, branding expert checklist. I think it's called the ultimate branding checklist for coaches and entrepreneurs, right? Mm-hmm. So thank you for that. I appreciate that very much. Lastly, you have 40 seconds. Let us know, tell us something amazing before we sign off about Sol, what she's doing, or whatever you want to say.
I just want to say that the most important thing that you should know about me is that I'm a good heart. I'm here to serve you, and I really would like to take your authenticity to the next level, embrace your vulnerability, and make your cracks turn into gold. And I'm here. I'm very grateful, Fritz, and of course, the Entrepreneurs Forum for this opportunity. Just you have my name, you have my number. I'm here for you, and I'm a click away. So that's the most important thing. I'm with you.
So thank you again. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Entrepreneurs Forum. Again, you're here with the Marketing Maverick, Fritz. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at info@retinamedia.com. If there's branding or marketing questions, email me. You have questions for Sol, feel free to email me or DM me. You can find it. Just type in Fritz. I'm almost certain I'm coming up. I'm probably one of the first ones. So, and if not, just email us or DM us on LinkedIn. So again, Sol's been gracious enough to give us, you get a free checklist, right? We'll provide you with the link, right? And again, thank you, Sol, for everything. You've been the great. Everyone here is just amazed by what you do, what you bring to the world, how you're making, an impact on women and businesses alike. Thank you, Yin and Yang, Mundo Digital, BXL Consulting. Thank you guys. I appreciate it very much.
Gracias, everyone. It was a pleasure.
Thank you
Bye.
for being part of us. I just want to thank our sponsors, Mundo Digital Designs, again. And don't forget to join us next week with our episode of the Financial Canvas with Boris Blum and his guest, Will Black. Thank you again for joining.